After a rough week 1 in the UNPL, this week we are taking on one of the commissioners again, and it's Danny Mac and the Waukegan Wakes. Danny is an absolutely phenomenal dude, so please make sure you go check out his links down in the description below. I think he puts out some of the highest quality content that I've seen in a very long time, and I think that he deserves a lot more subscribers than what he has, so please go check him out. First things first, let's talk about his team. He has Blaziken, Rillaboom, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Grimmsnarl, Slowking, Noivern, Forretress, Cryogonal, Wigglytuff, Zebstrika, and Muck. Now, for full transparency, I also did not prep for this team because he made some transactions in week 1 and I completely overlooked them, and I prepped before the doc got updated, so I didn't even know that he had a Wigglytuff and a Muck. But luckily for me, I don't think those are big threats to my team, so it didn't really change too much of how I wanted to build. The first Pokemon that we cooked up in the kitchen this week is going to be SMEARGLE. Now, I am so unbelievably excited to use SMEARGLE because I love building with things like Mew. I've done an Ubers League with Arceus. I've done so many things where you can just make something whatever you want, and it is so much fun. And this Pokemon is the epitome of that. I've worked out a couple scenarios in my head that ended up working out in mocks because I actually did mocks this week, as well as scouted some of the stuff that my opponent likes to do because I had the time. And this SMEARGLE kind of goes exactly with what I need it to do. Danny Mac really likes rocks leads, sash leads. I've seen him use it on a Lycanroc. I've seen him use it on a SMEARGLE himself. I've seen him do it on a few different Pokemon throughout the videos that I scouted. So because of that, I wanted to build a SMEARGLE that could take advantage of his hazard setter and then try to break at least one other thing and burn one other thing in the process. So I started thinking of a bunch of different sets that I could do, and I really wanted to do Shell Smash with Technician, Wide Lens, Population Bomb. The issue with Shell Smash is that I'm going to be lowering my own defense, so I'm not going to be able to tank things like Heavy Slams, Gyro Balls, things of that nature from Forretress. So I wanted to go with something that wouldn't make me weaker to Gyro Ball, would help me against Heavy Slam, and with Terra Ghost, I'm actually immune to Body Press. So I ended up going with Victory Dance. That helps me in all of those aspects that I wanted. It raises my speed, it raises my attack, it raises my defense. Population Bomb hitting 10 times with Technician and with Wide Lens. It's 99% accurate that I'm going to hit 10 times, which is phenomenal. And then I also have Sacred Fire to be able to hit his hazard setter for really good damage. The last move I wanted was Burning Bulwark because I couldn't guarantee get a burn off on something like Rillaboom that could possibly come in and click Grassy Glide against me. It would outspeed me, click Grassy Glide, and then at +1, if he's banded after a single Heavy Slam, I'm actually in range even at +1 defense. So I really need to be able to get off this burn. I couldn't use Will-O-Wisp, I couldn't use anything like that, but luckily Burning Bulwark, all they have to do is make contact, and the majority of his Pokemon that have priority make contact. We have Rillaboom, makes contact. We have Grimmsnarl, makes contact. Those are the two big ones. So the goal is I lead with this. I click Victory Dance turn 1 as he sets up Stealth Rocks, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, something along those lines with his Forretress. Turn 2, I click Burning Bulwark as he goes for a Heavy Slam because I'm going to Terra Ghost turn 1 just to avoid Body Press damage. He gets burnt. I'm then able to set up a second Victory Dance as they go for Heavy Slam. It does about 30% to me. At +2, it does even less than that. It does about 20%. And then I have this thing in prime position to just claim a kill versus Forretress. My Sacred Fire does about 70%, which breaks it perfectly for my big breakers and cleaners in the end game. Population Bomb to literally everything OHKOs or does about 80 to 90%. For example, Slowking at +2 drops if it's physically defensive. Grimmsnarl drops if it's physically defensive. If Grimmsnarl comes in, I can burn it with Burning Bulwark on a potential Sucker Punch. I can burn Rillaboom. I can even kill Blaziken from +1 if I get off the Population Bomb and 10 hits. I'm running enough speed to be able to outspeed Adamant Blaziken or Modest Blaziken because I do not picture my opponent running Timid or Jolly versus me, so I don't need to risk the 50-50 of what I'm going to outspeed. If he clicks Protect, if he doesn't click Protect, I outspeed Adamant or Modest. I just click the button, and then if he clicks Protect on me, I just click it again, and I go for Gusto. I'm really excited for this SMEARGLE set. I think it's phenomenal. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The big cleaner that I want this game is actually going to be my Baxcalibur. My opponent doesn't really have many good ways of dealing with Baxcalibur, especially a Swords Dance variant. His main way of dealing with it is Fortress, which is what my SMEARGLE is meant to set up on and break, as well as the potential Slowking if he tries to deal with my SMEARGLE defensively. At +2 with an Adamant Nature, I actually can do about 80% to Slowking, depending on its investment, with Glaive Rush. With Swords Dance, I click Glaive Rush, I kill the Slowking, and then that opens up the hole for another cleaner or breaker in the end game that I might potentially need. With Ice Shard and Brick Break is there just for screens potential, and then Ice Shard breaks down the vast majority of his offensive threats. If you go from top to bottom, it hits Rillaboom, it hits Ursaluna, it hits Noivern, it hits Zebstrika depending on its Terra type, and it even hits Cryogonal depending on its Terra type because it does have Ghost and Ground Terras. So at +2, this thing is an absolute menace, and then I have Choppleberry to be able to tank a low kick or a drain punch from Rillaboom and then be able to kill them with either Ice Shard or Glaive Rush, respectively. The next Pokemon that we're going to talk about is going to be my Mesprit. This is just a physically defensive Mesprit with Stealth Rocks, U-Turn, Ice Beam, and Psychic. Very, very standard .jpeg Mesprit. But it does have a very important role because it does pivot a lot on his physically offensive Pokemon like Blaziken, Rillaboom, Fortress, even physical Zebstrika I can pivot on pretty easily because I could see it being a physical set with like Supercell Slam, Terra Blast, Low Kick, High Horsepower, things like that. Ice Beam is there just to be able to hit things like the Rillaboom, the Noivern, and things of that nature. Psychic is there, as well as the Ursaluna Blood Moon. Psychic is there just for the Blaziken. If Grimmsnarl comes in on this thing, then I click U-turn, and then I go out to a Pokemon that I will go over here in a couple minutes. Sneasler is going to be the next Pokemon that we're going to talk about, and we're running the Fling Big Nugget set with Fire Punch, Dire Claw, and Close Combat with the Unburden ability. I have enough speed to be able to outspeed everything on his entire team. I could have gone less speed, but I wanted to be able to outspeed things like the Zebstrika before I got my Unburden boosted. So if he has his Zebstrika in and I see that it's a Life Orb, something along those lines, I don't have to be like, well, I have to go into my Mesprit, hope he's physical because he just clicks Terra Blast versus something, and I don't know if it's physical or special, blah, 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 whatever. I wanted to be able to have something to be able to outspeed it, threaten it out, and force in the Slowking to click Fling, Big Nugget. It does about 60%, so if I get off the chip damage that I want on anything from beforehand, like with my SMEARGLE or my Baxcalibur, Fling Big Nugget will kill. I'll have my Unburden popped, and then Fire Punch, Dire Claw, and Close Combat actually do unbelievable amounts of damage versus everything on my opponent's team. The next Pokemon that we have is going to be Sylveon. This is a mixed defense Sylveon. This has enough special defense to be able to take 2 Choice Specs Hurricanes after a Protect from Noivern, as well as being able to Baton Pass out and get certain situations in. There is also a situation that could happen where Sylveon actually has to come in on Noivern early in the game, and I know that his only real switch into Sylveon is going to be Fortress, and luckily Fortress is what I want to force in for my SMEARGLE, so I had to have Baton Pass for it. Originally I had Terra Blast over that to be able to have another Fairy Stab in case I get Throat Chopped from something like a Grimmsnarl, but I need to have Baton Pass to be able to get in my SMEARGLE on the Fortress. And then last but not least, we have Diplin. This is a mixed defensive Diplin. It has enough Spadef and defense to be able to take on either variant of Rillaboom, whatever variant it is. I'm also Terra Poison on this thing just in case I don't Terra with my SMEARGLE, but I'm pretty positive I will. With Recover, Giga Drain, Pollen Puff, and Dragon Tail, I have the ability to, if all else fails, let's say all else fails, I get 1, maybe 2 hits versus the Blaziken, and it sets up an SD in my face because he's calling my bluff, whatever. This thing is able to tank a +2 Flare Blitz from full from Blaziken. I can Dragon Tail it out, get off the nice little chip damage I need, and force it back in a little bit later whenever hopefully I have Baxcalibur set up or Mesprit in or something along those lines. And then Pollen Puff is there as just a nice neutral coverage move versus both the Rillaboom as well as the Slowking. So I guess it's pretty safe to say what I think my opponent is going to be bringing, but I do think that they're going to be bringing Blaziken, Fortress, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Slowking, Cryogonal, and Rillaboom. These are just the best 6 versus me in my opinion. I do think that there is some world where Grimmsnarl could come as like a bulk up set, where I do think that something like a Noivern could come, but ultimately I think these are just the most threatening Pokemon versus me. And Cryogonal is probably the biggest wild card that I didn't prepare too much for. I have my outs versus it. I just need to be very, very careful. But with that, let's go ahead and hop over to the battle. Okay, here we are with the game, and just so, you know, I like to keep things fully transparent with you guys. I like to be blunt. It's hotter than your mama after a Zumba class on a Thursday afternoon in here, and my stomach is upsetty spaghetti, so I am not doing the hottest, but hopefully this SMEARGLE set really pops off. I'm hoping it really pops off. Hoping he leads off with, I'm hoping he either leads off with Noivern or Fortress would be the hope. Looking at this team, he did bring Rillaboom, which is a little bit less than ideal because then that means that no matter what, he's just going to Grassy Glide my SMEARGLE after the turn 1. But realistically, okay, so he does lead off with this. He might just go right for something to try to KO me. He does frisk my wide lens. I'm hoping that makes him question things. But I go into my Sylveon on hopefully what's not a U-turn. He might just see this as an easy kill. Hopefully he goes for something like a Hurricane. Draco. Perfect. And then we Baton Pass on his U-turn. Goes for Taunt. He was ready to just lose this thing. He was ready to just lose this thing. I mean, I'm gonna go for a Hyper Voice now. Like, heck it, you know? I'll break the Sturdy on the Fortress coming in. Should do about 25%, depending on his investment. Leader, Fortress, Slowking. Okay. I'm gonna just go for another one because I need the chip on this thing. And if he Chilly Receptions though, is that bad? Also, I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. I'm just gonna go for another one. Get a little bit more chip, and the damage is really good. He goes for T-Wave. Okay. Which is good now because I should be slower. If I'm paralyzed, I'm at 78 versus Slowking. No. I mean, maybe if he's like not the if he's not like minus speed nature. Come on, let me get the Baton Pass off, please. Colossus, that is definitely Fortress. Please, for the love of God. Of course. Of course. We can't ever have anything nice. I'm gonna go into this. Because I did watch a lot of Danny Mac's his videos. And he likes to get rocks up early. He likes to have lead rocks. He likes to have things like that. But I don't see him body pressing right away. Goes for a spike. Okay, that's fine. So here's what we do. We Terra Ghost. And Victory Dance. Because I assume body press is coming in. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So I'll be at +1, +1, +1. If I didn't get paralyzed, I'd be one more turn ahead, and that'd be great. And Slowking dies to Population Bomb at this point, so Victory Dance. Let's see what he goes for. Please go for Body Press. Body Press. Heavy Slam. Fine. That is okay. Now, do I want to go for Sacred Fire and go for the 50% burn? I think I'm going to go for the Burning Bulwark. Hopefully he goes for another Heavy Slam and not a Spike. Goes for Heavy Slam. Perfect. So now he's burned. Sturdy is broken. And now I can get up to +2, +2. Or do I just go for +1? Because versus Rillaboom, Burned Grassy Glide, if he's not banded, looks good. I'm gonna go for another Victory Dance. I'm gonna get up to +2. +2. Goes for the Volt Switch. Could be worse. Depends on what he goes into. Because right now, I'm in a really, really, really good spot. Whatever he goes into takes a ton of damage. If it's Slowking, it dies. If it's Blaziken, it dies. If it's Rillaboom, it dies. If it's AV Rillaboom and I'm able to burn him, Noivern. Are you Scarfed? No, you switched up moves. Population Bomb kills. And I get rid of this thing. Perfect. Okay, so now Ursaluna Blood Moon, depending on its investment, dies. Colossus, he goes back into this thing. Okay, I'm just gonna Sacred Fire him. Perfect. Heavy Slam will not take me out, but he goes for another Volt Switch. Will do a lot of damage, but if he goes into Rillaboom to kill me with priority, I'm going to burn it first. Beast. Ursaluna Blood Moon. Okay. Let's get my chippies. 80%, give or take. Oh, I forgot about Vacuum Wave. That's fine, though. That is fine. Because that thing did the work I needed it to. That thing definitely did the work I needed it to. I kind of want to get at my Rockies. And now a lot of things are going to be in range of my sneeze. It's like a bulky Rillaboom. Dire Claw does 73 to 86, so I just need a little bit more chip on that. That SMEARGLE did good work. I'm proud of that. I 100% forgot about Vacuum Wave, but it's okay. Colossus, it's fine. What is this Pokemon called? Fortress. I had a total brain fart. Psychic does 21 to 25. So I think I'm going to spam rocks for 2 turns because even if he spins, I don't want him to get the free spin and me not have rocks up. Because my SMEARGLE at +2 did about a damage roll for fully Fizz Death. So I want to make sure that I have rocks up. So we'll go for Stealth Rocks here. He's never going to get out of this in a situation to where rocks aren't up. Even if he spins, eventually he'll be faster than me. And if he goes for a Heavy Slam, whatever. If he goes for Volt Switch, whatever. I kept my rocks up, you know. Goes for a Spike. Okay. So now I got 2 layers of spikes up. Should be in range of Psychic now, if he's fully Fizz Def, which I think he is based on the Sacred Fire damage. Perfect. Okay. Everything is looking really good for my Baxcalibur. Went into Blaziken, huh? Why? Why? Is he like Payapa Berry or something? He goes for U-turn. Okay, that's fine. I get my own U-turn off of this. And he's life orbed. That's good to know. That's very good to know. The leader, that's Slowking. Perfect. So now, I kind of want to go into this and click SD. Because I do have a Choppleberry to be able to tank it from Blaziken. If he goes for Focus Blast or something along those lines here, I'll tank it. If he goes for Chilly Reception, he goes for Trick Room. Okay. Versus Ursaluna Blood Moon. Max HP. I do need +4, so I'm going to go for another one. Psychic Noise, that's okay. Because if he goes for Vacuum Wave, it does 13% to me. I'm going to click Glaive Rush here. Goes for T-Wave. I'm now slower. Than a lot of things. That's gone. Perfect. Sneasler is looking so good. Beast. Okay. At +4, my Ice Shard to max HP Ursaluna Blood Moon does 92 to 109. I click Ice Shard. I don't outslow this thing in Trick Room, unfortunately. And with this Ice Shard damage, it looks really, 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 really good. Have the Chopple, just don't get paralyzed. Don't get paralyzed, don't get paralyzed, don't get paralyzed. Thank God. There we go. That's amazing. And now versus Blaziken, Ice Shard is doing 51 to 60. And it's looking like he's going to struggle to be able to kill my Diplin. And this was all opened up because of ya boy. I think there's still one more turn of Trick Room. And by ya boy, I mean Smeargle. I think there's still one more turn of Trick Room. There is. Glaive Rush. Yep, perfect. Blaziken goes down. And then Rillaboom. Your Choice Banded. Grassy Glide doesn't even take me out. Grassy Glide does 24 to 29. I'm at 115. It's a roll if he's Adamant Choice Banded. Let's see. Oh my God, no! That's so bad. 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 Oh, stupid paralysis. It is okay though, because I do have your boy, young Diplin, in the back. That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. We'll just go for the nice little Pollen Puff. That does genuinely 0. Diplin, you god. Oh my God. This thing is so good. He wasn't even Grassy Surge. What? Was that on purpose? I don't know if that was on purpose or not. But I just clicked Pollen Puff again, and we bounce back after week 1. Oh my god, we bounced back, and it was all off the back of your boy SMEARGLE. Okay, SMEARGLE put in the finest of work. It took out Noivern, which prevented a lot of pivoting on my end of the field with taunt, and it allowed him to get a lot of momentum. And then it weakened the Fortress to be able to allow me to keep up rocks. Oh my god, and to be able to kill it with a psychic, that was amazing. Shout out to that SMEARGLE set. My brain is massive. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.